So apparently it's not just Mama Winnie Mandela who was vocal about what happened in CODESA, who was vocal about what the ANC has done by selling black people out, what the ANC has done by signing things that won't give black people the land back, won't give black people economic freedom back. So even Mr. Thabo Mbeki was one of the people who was vocal about the fact that during CODESA, the ANC had sold out. The ANC of Mandela and them who were there, Ramaphosa and others. Others were objecting, others were willing to accept the deals of working hand in hand with white people also be given positions of power. So I have a clip, I'm not making this up, I have a clip of Mr. Thabo Mbeki explaining that he knew the ANC had sold out, the ANC was not willing to give black people what they were preaching to black people, because whatever they were signing in CODESA was not worth what black people were fighting for or dying for. There is a clip.
Communists, all these terrible things. You'll be fearful of them taking over. So we said, well, to address that fear, let's offer them the sunset clauses to say you will not lose power completely. And it meant not only retaining some of them in cabinet, it also retaining people in the public service, directors general, chief of police, chief of the military, people like that.
The debate was, it's a tactical question and let's give them that. And on the other part of the argument was that if we do that, we're going to be seriously limiting our ability to transform South Africa, because these people are in the key positions.
I can remember Mandela with his mask-like features, always very grave and basically saying, we've got to go with this, my boys, we can't upset the ship at this stage.
The sunset clauses meant that apartheid structures would not be dismantled immediately. The foundation of the economy and property rights would remain intact, and the same people the ANC fought against would remain in their jobs for 5 more years. And once these 5 years were over, there was no clear proviso requiring that they be replaced.
You can't shut down on one day and open up on the next day with a new civil service. And that's where the first hurdles came about, because we then went into government with our previous oppressors and had to wage a struggle within government to execute our program, whilst they waged a struggle to maintain old relations and old conditions.
It was too big a compromise. When you have an armed seizure of power, you put the enemy up against the wall and you shoot them. So now, not just to do that, and then no Nuremberg rallies, nothing, and even to say they can keep their jobs and their pensions, it was a very big leap.
You just heard Mr. Thabo Mbeki explaining that there was no way black people were going to get the land back if they were still willing to work hand in hand in government, giving these people who were apartheid warriors towards black people, these people who were apartheid soldiers, people who were doing wrong things to black people, people who were killing, abusing black people, people who were banning, arresting black people for no reason. There was no way black people were going to get their justice if they were still willing to work with them, if they were still willing to put these people in positions of power. We see today the current government is called the Government of National Unity. Even during that time, whatever was signed in CODESA was to create a government of national unity. At least during that time, it was understandable, because there was a crisis of coming from a moment of war, civil war, which was a war of apartheid, black people against white and the Boers. So they needed to be a TRC type of situation, which I still believe it didn't happen. But during that time, they called it the Government of National Unity. Today, I don't know why it's called the Government of National Unity. Today, I don't think that term needs to apply in the current government, because I don't think, But you just heard, it's a mini documentary. There's even other people explaining what the ANC has done and how they feel about what the ANC had signed in the CODESA. But you just heard Mr. Thabo Mbeki himself explain to you guys. Thank you very much.